Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I want to welcome everybody to the show today. Hang on
Hey,
for a
good
minute.
afternoon, everybody.
There, I got myself muted. Okay, yeah, I've been sitting here looking in my. And remember, if you saw the earlier video I loaded today, they were talking about, I was talking about making a screen or something, but look right there. So they already have a screen made, so I can buy that. So that takes care of that problem. So, how's everybody doing on a Friday? It's great. David Collins said he was going to be here. He had a surprise, but I guess he got wrapped up into something. Sent the link out to Dizzy, to Hazy, to Jimmy C, and of course to Captain Jerk, and to my sons. Now, I don't expect T-Dub to be on here because he's in Philadelphia. I got him back up there teaching. I think he's got a 2 or 3 week school. He's teaching on hydraulics up there. I think it's hydraulics. I'm not sure, but I'd have to talk when I talk to him again. I'll have to ask him what he's teaching, or is he teaching the whole sprinkler design course? I don't know, but yeah. So let's see, where are we at? Let's see. This week on the car, I've got the hood. The hood's off. The hinges are out. I get to clean up the rest of the inner fenders where the hinges go. I never really cleaned and dressed that and detailed that out, and because the hinges were there, so I'll do that now with the hinges off. I've sliced open a bigger opening on the back of the hood where the emblems go through, so I can fit these fat fingers in there to sit there and put some nuts on the emblem studs that came through. Let's see what else it did. So the whole inside of the hood is pretty much sanded. We are now trying to get it into 400 scratch, and I pretty well destroyed the back of that. And that was one of the first things I painted was the back of that hood. I should have masked it up, but dummy me, I forgot. Oh, here's David. Okay, hey David.
I was letting you tell your intro, your little story there,
No,
where I chimed in.
hey Gemma's in the house. Hey Gemma, how's it going? Did I pronounce that right? Gemma.
Yeah, is that right? Is that?
Gemma. I don't know. I'll put the link in the chat and see who wants to join us. So we won't get T-Dub today. He's in Philadelphia teaching another class. So I don't know if he'll come on with his laptop or his iPad or not. So, and then I don't know what Pat's doing. I got some bad news for Pat, so I don't know if he wants to come on. His favorite hot dogs I can't find anymore in town.
Oh,
So yeah, we were talking about that. Well, AM PM. I saw an advertisement for AM PM, and they are selling now cooked in the bun, ready to eat Johnsville bratwurst, and those are good bratwurst.
I'm gonna try that. I like them. I buy them every now and then. Just have them.
Yeah, but
Buns and
you
everything.
know, for a quick lunch to run into AM PM and grab one and head right back, and rather than a cheesy hot dog, now you get a good bratwurst, man.
It's better for you. I don't know. It might be a little better for you.
It's pork and fat, so I mean, the other white meat. Oh, okay. Well, then I got it right. It is Gemma. I did get it right. I thank you for that. Link's there if anybody wants to pop in. We got room for 6.
Let's see who's on.
And so let's see, where was I? Oh, so now I got to get the hood all in 400 scratch. I think that's where I left off. And that's all day tomorrow. I'm going to finish it off all day tomorrow. I'm going to go stop listening to the local weather broadcast. Ted screwed me. I could have been painting that thing. When I saw his broadcast when Pat came up Monday night and we took the hood off and everything else, I went to the news that night to watch the weather, and that's all I do is go to the news when I'm painting is to watch the weather. And Ted sat there and said, we're going to have high winds this weekend, everything else, the whole 9 yards. It's not going to clear out of here until Tuesday. Okay, fine. Then I just took my time on the work I needed to be done on the hood. I could have had it painted this morning. It was so nice. So, but anyway, no more ranting and raving. See what else is going on. Nothing else. I saw, if everybody watched Hazy Days, you think he's got himself all geared up now for his singles night camping. And so it's more fun camping with a bunch of friends and telling stories and drinking beer, But
well, we got 3 watching, so I wonder if one of those is Hazy.
Yeah. Camping is always going out in camaraderie with the buddies and everything else.
I know, I would go crazy.
Yeah, I was sitting there twiddling my thumbs. I mean, I was introduced to camping in Scouts, so I mean, but to sit there and go by yourself, I don't know, to each his own. But then it's like Hazy said, he wants it to clear his mind and to bring him back into reality. So,
did you send him a link?
Yeah, I sent him and Dizzy a link.
Because I told him
Dizzy's doing some good work on that trike. Did you see that trike video that Dizzy put up?
No, I didn't. I'll have to go back and find that. Dizzy has not responded to my invite on Hangouts. It says it's still still hasn't been accepted. I don't know what they use some computerese terminology. It's something like not accepted yet or no response or. So I wonder if I have the right Dizzy, because it's UD Murphy something or other.
Hold on, I'll get it for you. Hang on. Let's see. Because Dizzy, if one thing Dizzy doesn't mind his email address be given out there. I think he has it. He said it so many times on his show. It's
udmurphy@charter.net. I thought it was.
Yeah. udmurphy@charter.net. That's it.
And it brought somebody up on Hangouts. I don't know if it's Dizzy, but it was somebody.
We had some good news this week, though. I will say that. T-Dub works for the American Fire Sprinkler Association, AFSA. And what it is an association to help the merit shops, because it's a union trade and then it's a non-union trade. And American Fire Sprinkler Association is to help the non-union or merit shops. And so with the association, because there is a lot of stuff and everything else. And that's who T-Dub works for, is the American Fire Sprinkler Association. He teaches their sprinkler design school and calculations and answers technical questions and all that for them. And so they've been looking for a president, and their president happens to be an old good friend of mine, Bob Caputo. He got the job as president, and he's known T-Dub ever since T-Dub was running around here in preteen years. I've known Bob since the early 80s, and so he got that job. So I'm happy for Bob. T-Dub's happy. He's got a boss he knows. He's an old friend of the family, so that's cool.
That might be good in a way and might be bad.
It all depends upon T-Dub's relationship with Bob and whether he can.
It's the teasing and stuff. I mean, I work with the family.
Yeah, well, you sat there, Bob.
You got the family traits going to come, big.
Bob could set him down right in the middle of a meeting and sat there and said, "I knew you when you were 8 years old."
Stay on your toes.
Mm-hmm. See,
It's like when you put one of my, I don't have grandchildren, or I have nieces and nephews, but not my own children, in other words. And I would say to them, here they're grown adults, they're 30s. I go, I remember changing your diapers.
That's what everybody asked me.
Talk back to your elders.
That's what everybody sat there and asked me. He says, do you remember go back to your childhood and everything, back to that far, when you're 9 months old, 8 months old, a year, 2 years old, And I think I was about 18 months old, and my nanny was my great grandmother. on my dad's side, and she talked with a thick Irish accent. I mean, she'd come into my bedroom in the morning and said, Tommy, me lad, what surprises do you have for me today?
Ooh.
And so, yeah, I remember that of her. I spent a lot of time at my grandparents' house growing up. Every summer I was down on their farm in Decatur, Illinois. So, that was fun. I got a picture of me even down there, and I think I was 7 or 8 at the time. But yeah, but depends upon what you choose to remember. God, I can't talk today. Now, what was I doing with my phone here?
That's what cameras are good for. They kind of help you with your memories.
Yeah. That's what I was doing. No, I take that back. Bob's known T-Dub ever since he was about 4 or 5 years old. Had to do the math.
I don't know why I keep clicking on that link. I want to click on YouTube so I can read the chat. We're not in Zoom.
No.
We're not in Zoom.
We're not in Zoom.
So you have to click on a different part of the screen. Yeah. Don't change anything on me. I'm used to
they'll change it. Come on. They always got to screw something up.
No, we're Zoom to go down to the bottom and click a button, and StreamYard have to go to the top.
Okay.
Zoom is a program that runs on your computer. It's a client program, so it's not through the internet. It's actually through the dark net. Because that Zoom is being sent through the dark net. It's not.
And then the other thing is I got to end the show right at 4:30 today.
Right at, okay.
We're going out to dinner tonight.
You're going to have some Thomasville sausages that were nuked in a bun, huh?
No. We're going to our favorite Mexican restaurant. I'm going for the margaritas.
She's driving.
Huh?
She's driving.
No, she gets to work the gas and the brake. I get to steer.
As long as she can stop the car.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, officer, I was driving. I had my foot on the brake.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped the car. He didn't. I wonder what the legal definition of operating a vehicle is if you have two people operate. You have one person doing the pedals and one person doing the steering wheel. So who was operating the vehicle at the time? And if one of them is not had anything to drink, does that count?
Nancy and I got really good at
you brought, hey, this is a great discussion here.
Yeah.
Too bad we don't have somebody else on the show, but who would be how would they handle that?
What?
Who's driving?
Pull over and you see two people sitting in the driver's seat. Let's say your wife's sitting on your lap and you sit there, officer, she was driving, I wasn't. What would he do?
He would just be so confused. He would probably just wave you on and say,
probably throw us both.
The officer would say, well, where are you going? And you see, I'm going home. I live about 2 miles up the street. And the officer might say, I'll follow you. If I follow you home, you won't get a ticket.
Well, what I was going to
there's a story, way back in family lore. I think it was the wife of a brother-in-law, but you know how women have to pee. There was somebody in the family, and they were in the car, and they were going over the speed limit, and they got pulled over, and officer said, you know, you were on X number of miles over the speed limit. And she said, yes, I'm going home. I got to get home. Officer says, where do you live? I live 4 blocks up the street that way. And the officer said, well, why are you speeding? And she said, I got to pee. And she didn't get a ticket. So she said, you can follow me home if you want to. She went straight home, pulled in the driveway, got out of the car, and went in the house.
in the late 70s, when I was stationed up at Hill Air Force Base in Ogden, Utah, Nancy and I, we had a 78 Chevy van that we had fixed up and everything else. And we were always making the drive. It's an 8-hour drive. Well, 8 hours if you do the speed limit drive from Ogden, Utah down to Las Vegas. And every weekend that I didn't have the duty, we'd be coming down here. But what we got really good at is sitting there changing drivers while driving the van, is we tilt the steering wheel all the way up on top like that. So you look like a big 18-wheeler. Then we put the seat all the way back, and she would come in, sit on my lap, and then I would slowly move out of the driver's seat, and she'd sit down, and I adjust the seat back up for her to hit, and the van's on cruise control, and adjust the seat back up for her, and she'd tilt the wheel back down, and we changed drivers and didn't even stop. And we got really good at doing that, because when we got rid of that van, it was on its second engine, second transmission, and there was 250,000 miles on it.
Ooh.
Yeah, there were a lot of trips to Illinois to Vegas in that thing. And not counting the trips, it was 400.
And that's only an 8-hour drive, huh?
Yeah, it's 496 miles from Salt Lake City to Las Vegas. And back then it would go down. It wouldn't be all.
You said from Illinois to Las Vegas.
Yeah, Illinois to Las Vegas. That's 2,300 miles. We did that in 2 days.
Yeah, I was thinking it was a little more than 8 hours.
Yeah, but yeah, that's.
Well, gee, it's just as far from here to Las Vegas as it is from Illinois to Las Vegas. It's about 2,500 miles from here to Las Vegas.
I rounded it up to 2,300. It's 22 and some change. From Nancy's parents' doorstep to my dad's house in Northbrook was about 2,200 and some change. I just rounded it up to 2,300.
I would, if I were to make a educated guess, I would say Northbrook. That's out of Chicago. No.
Yeah, that's 35 miles northwest of Chicago.
I'd say it was 400 miles from here, so I could probably be in Northbrook, Illinois in 8 hours. It may be over.
Because we were doing from Chicago to Tampa in 12. Okay.
Yeah.
12, 13 hours roughly. When I was stationed at MacDill and we were driving up to Illinois.
That's what I'm
telling you. The only thing is my mom and my dad couldn't understand it, is they couldn't get me out of Florida in the middle of December to come up to Chicago for Christmas. Well, why don't you want to come up? And I go, how many inches of snow you got on the ground? And they, oh, we got about 6 inches of snow on the ground. Hold it. Let me go outside here. It's clear. It's about 85 degrees. And you want me to go up there? I don't think so.
That's one thing about I live in what they call Piedmont section. It's a very central location. I'm 8 hours from DC. I'm 4 hours from Atlanta. I'm about 5 hours from Myrtle Beach. I'm 4 hours from North Carolina coast. I'm about 4.5 to 5 hours from Virginia Beach, if you do the speed limit. I was talking to somebody the other day. I'm about 4 hours from Charleston, West Virginia, 6 hours from Lexington, 7 hours from Cincinnati. So it's a pretty central, and then all those Tennessee cities, Knoxville, Nashville.
That's what
I was talking about. I think it was my nephew. I said, "Oh, I can be there in 3 hours." And I said, how can you be here in 3 hours? It's a 4-hour drive. Oh, if I go 90 miles an hour the whole way. And I said, no, you're not going any 90 miles all the way.
Yeah. That's what's neat about here in Vegas is LA is 299 miles away. So that's roughly about 4 hours. San Diego is 4.5 hours away. Phoenix is 5. Albuquerque, New Mexico is 8. And you notice I kept going either to the west or to the south. I didn't say anything about going to the north because it gets cold when you go to the north. So I don't go to the north. But Reno is 8 hours away from Vegas. And the bad thing about it is it could be 8+ hours, because once you get out of Las Vegas, it's a 2-lane highway. And if you get behind a snow bunny in their motorhome and doing 45 miles an hour in a 70-mile-an-hour zone, you're stuck there for a while, because it's going to be a bitch to pass. So, yeah. So, yeah, centrally located.
Yeah, same here. And people have never heard of where I live. You know, they go, "Where is that?" You know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm an hour and a half from Charlotte, North Carolina, which is, I have watched that grow from I wouldn't say a sleepy town, a small city, into a metropolitan. A lot of, like, Bank of America has their headquarters. What else is there's? Charlotte is just the headquarters for a lot of things. Duke Energy has their headquarters there.
Okay.
Just a lot of big industry, and it just grows. And if you wanted to go somewhere like Atlanta, or if you wanted to go to Anderson, South Carolina, it makes a difference of what time of day you pick to go, because you're stuck. Don't do it on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
You'll get stuck in traffic on I-77. That's
what it's really fun is before the coronavirus and everything else, you could sit there on Friday evening and sit there on a bridge, let's say an overpass of I-15, and look at all the people coming from Southern California into Vegas on Friday evening. Then Sunday evening, go to the same bridge and watch everybody going back to California. And that's the longest time they've been sitting there doing a study for a high-speed railway between California and LA and Vegas. And it's just a study. It keeps being, here we go again. Somebody's bored. They're doing another study on the high. Is
there any rail system?
Yeah. You got Union Pacific. Actually, I-15 on the drive to let's say we're going to LA. So you go from here to San Bernardino, and there's a big mountain pass going to San Bernardino. But for most of the way from Vegas to here, you get hooked up. You'll get hooked up to the railroad tracks, and you'll see them, and they'll come back. And because the freeway just about parallels the railroad tracks all the way.
Oh, I enjoy riding the train. That's why I kind of mentioned it. And I've never seen any of that. You know, the train gives you a good opportunity to do a lot of sightseeing.
The train does not stop in Vegas. It's Union Pacific. You either stop in Flagstaff, Arizona, and if you want me to come down and pick you up, that's probably about a three-hour drive. But coming back into town, you get to go over the dam,
which is what I want to do. No, okay. I'm not taking the train the whole 100 miles. I just want to take one leg of the journey on the train. I would definitely fly. And fly to wherever's the most economical, whatever airport, whatever deal I get on the ticket.
Yeah. The neatest train ride that they have is the one that they take from LA, and this is like doing a cruise ship from LA up to was it Spokane, Washington, I think, and it follows Pacific Coast Highway just about.
Oh, that's expensive.
and that's a neat train ride. And
that's one of those tour train rides.
Yeah, like a tour train ride.
No, I just want plain Jane Amtrak. There you go. Whatever you call it out there.
Well, Amtrak used to stop in town. They don't anymore.
Okay.
They tore down the station downtown and the switch yards and the train, because there was a railroad yard downtown Las Vegas, right behind the Plaza Hotel. And actually the train station was part of the Plaza Hotel on the ground floor, because on the west side it looked out to the railroad tracks, and there was a switch yard there. And now they moved the switch yard to the south of town. I can take you to the south of town. You can see where all the switch yard is and everything else. And there's no train station because the train doesn't stop. It'll stop in Flagstaff, and then it'll stop in Barstow, and then you go all the way into LA.
Well, I don't want you to do that.
And I ain't driving all the way in LA, because I'll tell you, if you said, come get me, I'm in LA, I'm going to say, take the train to Barstow. I'll pick you up there.
Well, I want to go to San Diego.
But now San Diego's a fun drive. I'll drive to San Diego. Actually, I'll drive to LA, but I won't go all the way downtown LA.
Well, I don't blame you. Who would want to go all the way? It'd be interesting. They have a train or whatever, and then you could drop it like they do up in the north. They don't have train service everywhere like they do around Dizzy's.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first time I had ridden the train. First time I rode the train up around Dizzy's was the first time in, I have to stop and do the math. It's been too long.
Yeah.
Over 10 years anyway.
Well, when I grab my phone, that's what I'm doing, is getting the calculator out because I got to do the math.
We had to go to a wedding in like 2006. Oh, this ridiculous wedding. We went up to D.C. We stayed overnight in Alexandria, Virginia, and the train ride was like a 6-hour train ride or something.
Oh, yeah.
And we went to this wedding, and these poor kids, and I'm not saying they're poor money-wise, but the boy worked for Pepco, which is Potomac Electric Power, which is up and around the DC area, and it was in Maryland. And we went to one of those weddings where it was on a they called it an inn, but it was on a historic site where some battle was fought in the Civil War. It was a military base at one time. Anyway, everything was so expensive. I would call it highfalutin. It's just the biggest waste of money that I'd ever seen in my life. Mm-hmm. And the lighter I sent to Captain Jerk was a door prize at that wedding. Oh, and we stayed in this room, and it was in the basement of this house, and they had like 5 rooms. They had one bathroom for like 5 rooms. They didn't even have a stand next to your bed to put your alarm clock or your glasses or anything on. No nightstand. Tiny, tiny little room, and it was over $200 a night.
Damn.
It was stupid. And, it's in an old house, and it was a basement in the house.
$200.
Way overdone. I mean, that room could have easily, $100 would have been acceptable, reasonably acceptable, considering how nice the place was. But to charge somebody $200, and there was no complimentary coffee. Everybody in the area got coffee, but we didn't. And we were walking out the door to go to breakfast. And we had gone to the restaurant, like place where they had they had a lodge or whatever where everybody had breakfast, and it was expensive. And we got back to the room, and my father-in-law was with us, and there was this thing that looked like a big birdhouse or like a big mailbox outside the house that our rooms were in. There was inside the little birdhouse was a tray with coffee and sweetener and some breakfast pastries and everything on it. We never knew it was there. Nobody said a word about, okay, we're going to bring your coffee in the morning, but it's going to be out here in the birdhouse.
It's sort of like a continental breakfast.
Yeah, but they served it, but we didn't know. So we went down to the little dining hall or whatever and had our breakfast, and it was like $12 a person, to have breakfast down there. And they had like a little quiche, or not a quiche, but an omelet of some kind with, I have nothing against people that have a lot of money enjoying themselves and spending a whole lot of money, but there is like that train ride from LA to Spokane is probably an absolutely beautiful trip, and I would spend the money for that trip, but the thing of it is there's nice, and then there's ridiculous. I mean, there's
good, nice,
waste money. I mean,
yeah. I'm on the Weather Channel. I'm looking to see Anthony Red redneck way of life is in the crosshairs again on another hurricane. It looks like.
How many are they going to have this year?
This makes number 4 that he's gone through. He's gone through 4 storms this year. This is number 4.
See, that's why
it looks like it moved to the east a little bit. It's off the border of Louisiana and Texas.
Okay, that's going to get my folks. If it goes east, it'll get my folks. They've been through like at least 2 this year.
Yeah.
One of them was a Category 1, direct hit, and it took out their garage. Didn't touch the house, fortunately. The backyard was a mess. A big old oak tree that had been there forever. They came and cleaned it out, got it cleaned out pretty quick. $2,300 to clean that backyard up.
Damn.
They were on it. The insurance company was on it. They got it cleaned out. I got to say one thing about Nationwide. They jumped on that like it was.
Well, that's good.
They had her taken care of in a matter of weeks, which I think is kind of quick for an insurance company to step in and start operating on something. They're definitely wanting business, I guess.
Well, hell, I can paint this. I can paint on Sunday. I can paint tomorrow if I want to. I'm sorry, I'm on the Weather Channel. I figured I wanted to take a look.
I feel bad for you. I'm glad you will be able to paint tomorrow.
I can paint all this weekend if I want to. The wind northeast 7 miles an hour tomorrow, northeast 7 miles an hour on Sunday. Monday, northeast 7 miles an hour on Monday. Temperatures 93 Saturday, 91 on Sunday, and 88 on Monday. But Monday's going to be partly cloudy. I like it when the sun's out. Okay. We're going to sit there and shoot for Sunday paint then.
And you can use that fast, well, whether you call it, I guess it would be slow acting harder.
Yeah, slow acting.
Use that up because it'll be what, over 80 degrees?
It'll be over 85. I'll be able to use both for the high temperature. It's 85 to 95 degrees stuff, and then you got super slow. And that's for higher temperatures, but I don't know.
All right, well, get out there and get it done because you're on borrowed time, Tom.
All right, well, you got the show then, David. I'm leaving.
Well, I was leaving.
No, go get your beer. I was just joking.
Okay.
So, okay. So let's see. That's about it. So yeah, I was listening to the weatherman on TV, and he's telling we were supposed to have wind, and I didn't plan on painting. So now I'll plan on painting on Sunday, and we'll sit there and take the old camera out there because then we'll sit there and turn it on, and while I'm shooting the hood, and then if I get overspray on the lens, I don't care because that lens is screwed up anyway. So we'll take a look and see if we do that. So yeah. But no, I'll finish all the sanding tomorrow, masking it up, everything else, and then I'll wait until tomorrow or Sunday afternoon, and I'll pull the Camaro out and I'll paint it. Who's this guy? Skunka, what? I don't know who you are, guy. I'm not going to let you up here.
Where? I don't see anybody.
He's in the.
He went in the basement.
He's in the basement. He just left. It was
Skunk. Well, put something in the chat so we can see who you are.
Yeah. He just popped on, and I wasn't going to let him up.
Well, he would have had to get the link somehow.
Well, I put the link in the chat.
Never mind. It's been a long week. I spent 3 days inspecting sock labels for the Army. And what you have to do is make sure the size label is lined up. And I mean, we're talking about millimeters. And if it's off, it's not supposed to cover up the writing on the label.
All right, David, she put something in the text. I don't know who you are, sweetheart. I'm sorry. But
Well,
unless,
you're welcome to type in the chat where we
yeah,
talk
you
about
want to hang out in the chat and talk to everybody and the whole 9 yards, fine. But
we talk about fixing up cars, we talk about bicycle rides, camping trips, but
actually, there's a guy in there who does the bicycle ride and camping trips. But
we do talk about hurricanes.
yeah, speaking, going back on that, I hope Anthony's okay. I wish he'd give a shout out saying, yeah, I'm still alive or I'm still vertical, sucking air.
Well, I missed the entirety of Jimmy C's last night. I slept an entire 9 hours straight because of those socks. They were for 3 days.
I got on Jimmy C's late. I didn't go on the panel, but I got on late, and then I sat there and I jumped out in the garage to reflect on something, and came back in and got carried away and never went back on Jimmy's. So,
well, I came out here this morning, found Hazy. I watched Hazy's video, then I sent him a Hangouts message, and he responded to it like right away. He must have been sitting right in front of the computer. He said, "Yeah, I'll be on." I said, "Yeah, well, I want to hear stories about the bike." But either he fell asleep or he forgot. So I'm having a beer for him. I don't like to drink on the show because he just quit drinking. And I had a friend of mine.
who
We
was
were
drinking?
together, and he just
Hazy?
yeah, he quit drinking.
Hazy?
Yeah.
Okay.
You might be thinking of Ian. He said he's going to quit drinking beer. He's just going to drink.
Yeah, that's who probably I got confused thinking of Ian.
Well, I don't know. Ian did a video about buying beer the other day. Did
Yeah.
you see the one where they had all the different?
Well, the funny thing about it is T-Dub just sat there and brought you Dizzy a 4-pack of this beer, and they only brew it every so often, and it's like 10 or 12% alcohol, something like that. And I know he just sent it off to him, so I wonder what Hazy's going to do with that when it comes to him.
He'll probably drink it.
I'd suspect so. He'll think of a reason to drink it.
But when somebody makes that effort, they say, "I'm going to quit drinking. I will never do a thing." But it's kind of sad. I had this friend. He lives right across the street from me. He's one of my neighbors. He used to sit on the front porch and have drinks. Have mojitos or whiskey sours or what. We would come up different things.
Mm-hmm.
And have a couple of drinks in the evening on a cool evening in the fall after work, and just chill and he quit drinking. And the alcohol is like a lubricant. He's one drink will kind of ease your nerves up a little bit to sit and socialize for a little while, just like we're doing right now, just to have a chat. A drink kind of mellows you out and kind of sets the mood for everything. You don't have to be crazy and sit here and drink 6 beers straight in a row. And I've been known to do it myself, to be on a live show and drink a 6-pack. Jimmy C's being one. And I'm telling you, don't get up late at night and start drinking and then go back to bed, because your head will hurt like crazy the next day. So I'm glad I have Fridays off.
Yeah, well, Jimmy C was bummed out last night. I guess he was out of some weed. Yeah.
There's a break in the supply line, huh?
Uh-huh. So
COVID-19 delayed.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to get on her channel, and it won't let me on her channel.
Well, they've changed that.
Oh.
You have to pay for it now.
You have to pay
Did it turn red or something like that?
No.
Well, the YouTube plugin is not free anymore. You have to pay for it to have that. And Captain Jerk was talking down on it and all that, and he said, Google's trying to rip somebody off, blah, blah, blah. Well, in a way, you don't know. It might be a cottage industry that's doing that, and I don't see anything wrong with somebody making an honest buck.
Yeah,
I mean, there's ripping people off, and then there's still legitimate ways to make money. If it's a service that you want and you're willing to pay for it, there's nothing wrong with that.
exactly. If you want it and you're willing to pay for it, then
If you want it bad enough, it's worth paying for.
Mhm. Okay, hang on.
No, I would have never imagined going to LA. LA is like not on the list, but if it
Been there once.
makes it easier, makes something. I don't know anything about LA. I don't know it. I know of a YouTuber that lives in LA. He specializes in restoring vintage televisions, and they have to have vacuum tubes in them. He does very little. I mean, he's got a full channel, and he's been doing that for forever. And
All right, I'm looking at her channel here. Well, she wants to come back. Yeah, she knows everybody we know. She's not a troll.
he knows everybody.
She knows. I mean, she's Mr. Heavy Chevy, Vice Grip Garage, Hazy Days, Rotter Files, Musty One, D&D Speed Shop, Jimmy
Let
C.
her up. Let her up.
Yeah, if she wants to, if you want to come back
Yeah,
in,
if you want to see, we checked it out. You can back in, come up on the camera if you want to. We just have to be careful because it's nothing against you. But we've had a chance to check it out a little bit.
Yeah.
But normally we like for someone to chat, but there's not anybody else in the chat, so it's
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, she's all good. I'm sorry, but we have to take precautions.
But we had to check out
Who was it? It was Hazy that got Hazy.
Jamma. Yeah.
Was it Hazy or Dizzy? One of them got troll that sat there and did put up some porn on their. Came in and they're sitting there looking at them and everything. And the minute Hazy or Dizzy clicked them up and everything else, it started porn on their live.
It was Hazy. Was that the day that they kept taking wrenches away from everybody and people's names were turning blue and they were making people were becoming moderators that weren't moderators.
I have no idea what was going on, but I remember that because I was watching the show that time and it was like bam, bam. I mean, the minute Hazy, I think it was Hazy, the minute Hazy brought the person up, he realized it was porn. He ended
yeah, I saw it. It was a brief flash. It was boom.
Yeah, bam.
But
Hazy was fast on getting that down. He was fast on getting that down. So you can't blame us because of the trolls out there, and I apologize. And if you want to come back, we'll bring you on up.
Yeah, if you know Musty One,
like we don't have the room.
I've had the pleasure of meeting Musty One. He's a great guy. I've met him twice. He's done some interesting projects, to speak the obvious.
Yeah,
but I actually got to see Krusty and the Trike and Ruby in person.
Oh, excuse me. Oh man.
So I actually was. You're not allowed to touch. That's a rule. Do not touch. But
what, musty stuff? Don't touch any of
them. No, well, it's an unwritten rule about motorcycles. Well, this show, I was with Angry Dog, which I'd like to get back up with, but he's sort of faded into the background because we had a great time, just hanging out. But we
You're talking a car show or a motorcycle show.
Yeah, don't touch.
Yeah, well, that is a written understanding that you don't touch.
That's an unwritten rule. Do not touch. So it's kind of, you could say you've looked at it, but you said you can't say you've touched it.
Well, what was it? Maintain 18 inches clearance around the vehicle at all times, or you'll be shot.
Well, I was able to stick my head and look around in a vehicle. I had a neighbor that drove a VW when I was like 14. I have never ridden in a VW, never had anything. I think they're cool, a little beetle bug, I never have ridden in a VW. I've ridden in the new VW. That one that when they quit making the Beetle, they made the new Beetle.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Well, you get to hold down the fort now. It's my turn.
All right.
Oh.
No activity in the chat.
All right, I'm back.
Didn't miss anything.
Okay. All right.
If somebody decides they're going to quit drinking, it's hard, but if you drink, it's hard on you. But it's like I would never do a thing to encourage them to go back on what they decided they want to do. And I know so many people that have quit drinking, and it changes things. I drink, and I admit I've had too much to drink at times.
Understatement. Hold on. Now I gotta look. Oh, where is it? Okay. Guess it's not down here. I'm looking for a photo album that used to be in the bookcases off to the. Wanted to show you a picture. Hang on. All right, I'll be right back. Hang on. I'm still here, David. You can talk. I'm just.
Well, I really don't have anything to talk about. Like I said, I spent 3 days inspecting socks for the Army. The Army had sent us a order for 7,000 socks, one order for 3,000, one order for 4,000. I think they were different sizes. We are doing medium and large, and we have finished up a batch of medium, and we are about to start doing the order for the large socks.
Yeah.
We're going to be busy for a while on that track.
Okay.
The way where I works is that, they do a purchase order. We make everything. We've even made food. We made sauce. Not made the sauce, but we packaged and distributed the sauce for a company called Garner Foods, which makes Texas Pete hot sauce. Garner Foods is like 2 miles away from me. And of course, they got bought out by some conglomerate, and they're going to probably shut that down and move that location somewhere else. It was a family business.
Or they'll screw up the recipe and it ain't going to taste the same.
Well, they'll screw something up, but it was a family business, and either they decided to close the business down or sell out or whatever. But it's like Texas Pete. It's made 2 miles away from me. But that was sauce, bulk pack sauce for Chinese restaurants. It didn't work. It lasted about a month.
Oh yeah.
Our foods, it just didn't, or whatever it was. But that explains the kind of work we do. If you find yourself, if you find a Granger, W.W. Granger catalog,
I got one.
pretty much sell or make whatever's in the catalog. And Granger is, we take Granger's, we actually have cloned Granger's catalog. And we even use their house brand for a lot of things, sell it under their brand.
Okay. Well, I'm still looking for that photo album. I thought it was.
But we particularly deal with the military and people that are on military bases.
Yeah. Okay. I'm here.
Ask me later. I don't know what my computer is telling me to do. Probably an update or something. But anyhow.
Okay.
Yeah. It's fun because some things stay the same and some things are different.
I told you I'd find it. Hang on. This is pictures from a party at tech school. We had all just graduated. We're Air Force. This is Shepherd Air Force Base. And this was tech school. And that's my roommate, and that's a pile of quarters. All we were doing was we were on the second floor of barracks. These are old World War II barracks. And all we were doing was when we got done with our empties, we just throw them out the window of our barracks room. And then in the morning, we were down there. He's down there cleaning up. And here's what it was before we started cleaning up.
Who drank all that?
That's part of it. That isn't all of it, but that was the second floor of my barracks because I was barracks chief, but that was the second floor. We all graduated, and so we graduated tech school, so we were getting our orders any day and shipping out. So they told us that we had probably about 4 days before we got orders and we're going to ship out. And so we decided that night that day and night we were going to drink, and we sat there and tied one on big time. So yeah, but I had to find this photo album. I'm surprised Nancy let me keep it because two of my old girlfriends are in here.
Well, she probably didn't know it. Now she does.
She's upstairs sleeping. That's Barb.
Well, she may eavesdrop on you.
I was dating her when I joined the military, and I was in the military until I really started moving around, and then she didn't want to come join me or talk to me or anything. So she thinks she found somebody else. Let's see what else. Where is it? Want to see me in my short hair, youngness?
Down a little. Yeah. All right.
So let's see. I can't find it. Where did it go? I just had it here a minute ago. Yeah. Here it is. That was an ATC 70. And the guy in the back is my younger brother, Jerry, and the girl in the front is Wendy. And I dated her all through high school and partially through the military. And then she went her way and I went my way, and that was it. So, holy smokes, I didn't know I had all these. So enough of old time reminiscing. But
That
yeah,
picture still had the white borders around the edges.
yeah, those were all taken with a Polaroid.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You know, so I mean, I sat there and I got out and we were sitting there, and I'm going, okay, I need to get a camera because I need to take pictures of all this stuff. And so I said, well, if you're getting orders, so will you can't have film developed, or so I got a Polaroid, and I went nuts so until I realized how expensive that film was, and then I went and got a regular 35 millimeter.
A lot of them developed the film right there on base, didn't they?
Yeah, but if you had orders, I mean, you got to remember is basic training was what, 12 weeks, so you're there 12 weeks, and then you're gone. Tech school was 16 or 18 weeks. I can't remember. And then you're gone. So you weren't in one spot very long that I felt comfortable enough to, drop off.
So yeah, you got to wait for things to
calm down.
To get further apart. Then you can get a 35 millimeter camera. But those held up pretty well for,
I was at Nellis Air Force Base. I went through F4 school, and that's what I called it, was F4 school. It was a school by McDonnell Douglas, who built the F4. And we went through their school, and that was an 8-week class. No, 10-week class. And then once we got done with that, I was on the flight line for about 4 more weeks, and I got orders to Thailand.
Oh, now see, if you had a roll of film in for developing, you'd never see it again.
Yeah, so that's what I was doing. And then when I got to Thailand, I knew I was going to be there for 365 days. That's when I got a 35 millimeter camera.
Yeah.
Plus it was cheap over there.
You save you on the developing.
But yeah. So.
Well, Polaroid film, they had the idea. They have it in an instant. Look at our culture now. We have the iPhone. You get it in an instant.
Well, that's the other thing is I got a whole stack of Polaroid pictures here, and these are all of putting in there's some of the Camaro, but most of these are putting in. Actually, this isn't the Camaro. This is the Firebird. I got Pat as a father and son project. Yeah, this is the 69 Firebird I got Pat. We were going to build it as a father and son project.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is it up on jack stands. This is before the Camaro. It's up on jack stands. Here we're cleaning the A-frame or the subframe. Yeah, Polaroid.
Yeah, that was a newer Polaroid. That's the one that.
Here's where TW. We just got it back from the Media Blasters, the subframe. Yeah, I didn't know I forgot all about these.
Well, I was really big into photography, and I'd like to get back into it. But developing film and the film and everything is phenomenally. Not enough people do it anymore, but I want to do it as a hobby. But
yeah. Well, the 35 millimeter I got now will sit there, and I can download the pictures to the computer. And then with the Epson printer I got, because it's a photo printer too, it's a scanner printer, and it's all in one, that will print out pictures, and it does a really good job of it. If I can, hold on, I'll find a picture for you. That I took it with this camera.
Uh-huh.
It's a Rebel. It's a Canon Rebel. Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay, mine's a Pentax.
And let's
have the camera.
Hang on. You got me looking for stuff now.
Well, I can go get the camera I've had for years.
Okay. I had a picture sitting right here, and I can't believe where it went.
I've owned several, but
here.
I had this since sometime in the 90s. There's actually a story behind this camera. I gave it to my brother, and my brother kept it forever. Well, it's a Pentax.
Here's a picture that I took and developed on my printer.
What I would like to find out is if somebody has the information, I'd like to get a negative 35 millimeter negative scanner. I remember seeing one at Porter's Camera Store for $99, and I didn't buy it. But I was running Windows at the time. I want a 35 millimeter negative scanner that will run on Linux, that will have a driver that would, and if anybody knows.
So I had a scanner that would do 35 millimeter negatives, but it was running on Windows, and it was
Well, what I was about to say is I have not been able to find one on Linux. So if somebody knows, I'm going to give you my email address. It's Colin.
Did you look at Newegg?
Look at what?
Newegg.
What's
Here, hold on. We're going to share a screen here in a minute. Hang on. Newegg is where I get all my computer parts, my electronic parts.
See if they have a 35 millimeter negative scanner.
Well, hold on. We're gonna all look at this together. So let me share the screen. Where is it? Here we are.
While he's trying to pull that up.
There. All right, there it is. This is Newegg, David. And you can come in here, as you can see. This is where I get all my computer parts and everything else. So they have everything. So let's see. Printers, scanners, and down here, right here, printers and scanners. Okay. Okay. Flatbed scanners. Let's see what these are. So, see, high-speed USB, capable interface, flatbed. But we want one that's going to be able to do negatives, 35 millimeter negatives.
Yeah, if they have a negative scanner. But my brother's into Linux. He said he didn't know any. And I've gone to B&H and some of the major.
He didn't know of any?
No.
Okay.
If that were the case, I would just develop the film here at home and not pay somebody to develop it for me. If I can get a negative, then I could scan it and then have a photo of it. And
these are specialized scanners now.
But you're talking about $10 or $15 to get a roll of film developed. I remember cutting coupons out of the newspaper on Sunday, and for $1.50 or $2 getting my film developed through the mail.
Hey, David, look at this one right here that I got highlighted blue. All-in-one film and slide scanner with speed low adapters for, let's see what they say, for 35 negatives and slides, 120 Super 8 film. Oh God, you can do everything with this thing.
Super 8. Wow, that's probably a lot of money there involved, though.
It's only $69.99 for the scanner, and if it comes, look at all the stuff it comes with.
Man, all that for $60?
69 bucks, man. But it doesn't say if it runs on, if the operating system's Linux, though.
Well, it doesn't say anything about operating systems.
Let's see. I'm looking for where you can click for the technical information. And I can't find it.
Just keep going down. A lot of websites put it like Amazon and all that. Just you have to go through all that advertising and roll down. Nope.
Okay, give me the technical specs. Manufacturer, website support, website view products, no warranty returns and additional information. I don't want to return it. Specs. Okay. And that's it. That's all it says.
Send me the link to that for $60.
Yeah.
Be a start.
Hang on. So, and there was another one here. Here was another one for $84. This is another one, 84. All in one high resolution 22 MP film scanner, converts 35 millimeter Super 8 film, slides negatives into digital photos, variant 2.4 LCD screen, impressive 128 built-in memory. Holy smokes. And it comes with all the same stuff. Look at this. And you just if you look at the picture, you just slide the negatives through.
I know how they work. It's finding one that'll be compatible with Linux.
It's a USB cable, and I don't see any. Let's see. Okay, hold on.
But you still have to have a driver.
Yeah.
Like anytime you get a printer, or a lot of times, 99% of the time, your operating system, whatever you're running, Apple, Linux, Windows, they will have a driver in your software. But sometimes you have to download a driver and install it.
I found another one.
If anybody would have it, they would be the people to have it. That website.
Let's see what you get with this one. Oh, that just shows all the pictures that you could sit there and develop. Okay. All right. You need to play with this yourself, David.
Yeah, send the link to me and I'll play with it. Get back with you on it.
You know, but man, God, look at all these here down here. This is underneath the $84 one right here. And then look underneath here.
They're not.
We have all these under here. Man. You want me to hold it, specifications. Here it is. Fixed focus exposures, automatic. Single pass, film type, screen effects, file format, JPEG, TV output, non-man scan, speed scan, English, okay, Chinese. Power supply doesn't sit there and tell you what operating system you need. What's included, film scanner, USB cord, power, okay. UPC, certifications, SKU, power supply. I don't see anything on operating system.
It may just save the files like your digital camera does, and you can just download them off of it.
Yeah. I'll send you the link to this one, not the first one. This one seems to be more in what you're looking for.
Yeah, just email it to me.
Yeah, if it would sit there and talk about an operating system that needs to.
Well, it'll give me a start and I could do some research on it, kind of.
You call the manufacturer at least.
Yeah.
But I've never heard this brand. Have you? Megsonic? I can't pronounce that.
No.
Okay, let's see. There's only been 2 reviews on it. Let's see what the reviews say. Isn't this come to watch Dave and Tom sit there and produces just as high quality scans from negatives. Cons, completely standalone product, must purchase an SD card to save the files and transfer
Okay, so it has nothing to do with the operating system.
No,
it has nothing to do with your computer.
It's standalone, and then you can pull them off the SD card.
Isn't that something? That's what I've been looking for.
All right, I'll send you this one.
Yeah, send it. It works like your camera. It just saves it all onto an SD card, and you probably use your USB cable to copy your files over from the SD card to your computer.
Yeah. So let's see. Email.
Well, they've gotten wise on that one. Like if you have a printer, you have to have a driver. But like if you have, like, let's take Windows 10, for example. Windows has the drivers saved into their system that would run most stuff in people would end up having. But if you get some rare printer, you would have the driver would be on a disk, or you would have to download it and install it to make it work.
Okay. All right, I just sent it to you.
Okay, great.
Oh, Gaffa just is in Twitter. Just did something in Twitter. All right. Okay. So let me get rid of this and there. All right. It's on its way, David, unless you got it already.
I probably got it already.
Yeah. Newegg. 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 Best online, to me, the best online computer shopping place I've found. And actually, we've been using that since the Newegg since the 90s. I mean, middle of the 90s. I mean, this computer that I'm on right now was built from Newegg products that we got from Newegg. Okay, we had somebody, the fluffer. Okay, what is he doing? What are you talking about?
Negative scanner for film.
We were looking for a
If you
scanner for David for 35 millimeter film. You still got to get the film developed, though.
I can develop myself in my kitchen.
Okay.
You buy the chemicals, from Freestyle or.
I did that so long ago. Nancy's younger brother, Steve, used to work for the MGM in their photo lab. And so when I wanted to develop film, he'd sit there and what he would do, he made me a deal, is that I just get the negatives developed. Don't get nothing print, just get the film developed. And then I go up there and he'd put me in a room and I could print all the 8x10s, 5x7, whatever I wanted. I'd sit there and you just scan them in and print them out. And that's what I would do. I mean, did that for the longest time. Every time we came into town, I'd have all the film unrolled and talk to Nancy's brother, Steve, going, "Hey, you working tonight? Yeah. Can I come down? Sure."
Well, I worked in the photo lab for a newspaper for 3 years. I developed more rolls of film, darkroom, all the chemicals, everything.
Oh,
I could practically do it blindfolded.
there you go.
In fact, I am half blind and I can develop film. But when you have let's say you have a roll of 36 exposure roll of 35 millimeter film that you've shot all day. Really, how many pictures off of that roll are going to turn out good enough that you want to print? Maybe 5.
Yeah.
So why just mail them somewhere and have a company print all of it? Make 36 prints that you're only going to want 5 of those prints, and you end up throwing the rest of them away. That's such a big waste. The better way is to figure out a way to develop it yourself. And you can buy like a kit. It's like $45, get it online, and it will develop like 20. They have people have different things with. They've stretched out the number of rolls, but technically you buy this kit for about $45.
See what I found when I came to my office?
I got it. Tom, can I just say something?
Yeah, go for it.
Go back to the Amazon ad.
Go back to the what?
Amazon ad.
It wasn't Amazon. It was.
That was an Amazon. That was Newegg.
Doesn't matter. Go back to it.
Oh, okay. Give me a minute.
Something very, very important you need to see that's very, very clear.
Bear with me.
Bring it up on screen.
I'm getting there.
He's almost as slow as I.
Hey, I'm slower. And proud of it too.
Right.
You want to go back to that same
Yep.
that same scanner?
Yep.
Okay. Now I'm trying to remember how I got there, and I just went too far.
There it is. No, it was there. You just had it on the right hand side. It's part of the things you looked at.
Oh.
Just go back a page. You'll see it.
Scroll down, Tom.
A bit more. One more page back. On the right hand side, you see it's over there?
Right there. Here it is.
Now, read down. Go down slowly, stop. Now, you see it says in here? It'll tell you in there, no computer required.
So operating system has nothing to do with it.
No, you don't need one. It's a standalone plug and play. Do whatever you got to do. It'll show you. All it is a film viewer. It's like a giant magnifying glass with a lens,
Yeah, well, you can still
lamp behind it.
save it onto a SD
You
card.
still can save it on an SD card.
Yeah. So if you save it on an SD card, there's no operating systems absolutely required for it. You can put it on any operating system.
No, and I
SD
have a computer that will you plug the SD card right into the computer.
Are we done with this?
Copy it right off of the card onto the computer.
We're done with it. No computer required. Because when you originally did it, you go, oh, what operating system? And then you went over to specs, and I go, hold on, but it said quite clearly back there, no computer was required. So no operating system is necessary. They'll work on all operating systems.
You can. I'd like to get into the Super 8 because I see people online do that, and you can get the film, and you can even bulk load your own Super 8 film. You can get.
You can make that into a small little side business if you wanted to.
Yeah, well, you can get the little reloadable Super 8 cartridges. I mean, the initial investment would be up there, but once you got established, it would be pennies because you can get a tank that you can develop that Super 8 film in. It looks like a big pancake. You get this big thing that looks like a great big pie pan, and I imagine it's like a foot in diameter, and you have to go into a completely dark room, but what I could do is take one of my closets and just patch it all up and make it totally dark in this closet and load that Super 8 film on that little into that.
Right here, David, is where Gaff is talking about all-in-one. There is no need for a computer when you can edit brightness, rotation, and more directly on the all-in-one film scanner. Okay.
Yeah, but you still have to develop the film.
You still got to develop the next.
You have to still have.
Yeah, this is only for viewing film without needing a projector or anything else because projectors are expensive, especially for 8mm.
Yeah.
I know. I used to have a license. I used to have a license to be an 8mm projector operator.
Yeah, and it is all collectible and it's all gone, all given away because it's like this is obsolete. We're not going to need this anymore.
It's only obsolete because most people don't do the work to convert it into digital. I mean, there's a lot of things out there that are still good quality and still good things to have, but there's no way or it's the amount of time it takes. It's like people say, oh, we can turn your slides and put them onto DVD and it's going to cost you $750. Yeah, because it takes them 14 days to do it.
Yeah, and
it's labor.
And time is, I have time.
Yeah,
time is the resource that I have available to me right now.
It's the ability. I used to be able to do slides and everything else on my computer because all my scanners and equipment I used to have was able to convert everything to digital for people. But it's a time factor. It is one thing's the biggest killer in it is time because people have got to be paying for labor and labor is expensive.
Well, I was watching this video about this. There's a company in New Jersey that develops and scans Super 8 film, okay? And they were showing something about, if you want to look it up online, it's called the Film Photography Project. And they've turned that into a big business. They're actually in a building that was owned by Kodak and an old Kodak film plant or whatever. But now that's scale operation. But they were showing the machine they used to scan us. They developed a Super 8 film for somebody, and they were scanning it, digitizing it, and it does it one frame at a time. It goes.
Yep.
All the frames on that roll of film. And then it downloads it to a JPEG or whatever, and you can.
Then you can add. You can actually put it together yourself afterwards with things like Premiere or any other film manipulating program, because they can do individual slides and turn them into films.
They
can do it here all the time.
Yeah,
they're bringing that back, and they're getting the film from somewhere. They have suppliers. I don't know. I think Ilford still makes a 8mm stock, and they get it from Russia and from Yugoslavia and places like that, because all of that Eastern European, they were a lot slower to depopulate. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
They'd have a lot of they'd have a lot of storage that they never got to use and never got rid of because it was shoved back in the holes of somewhere.
Yeah, well, even our government has film that's in bunkers, stored under the ground, or whatever. And they're bringing this film stocks out that were stored. Now they don't need any of that anymore because everything's digital. So they don't need all that film. So they're getting rid of it, as surplus.
Making money off it now.
Yeah, good money off of it.
So what do you know, Tom?
Just hanging out, waiting for dinner.
What are you having for dinner?
Actually, we're going out. We were supposed to go out last night with Nancy's younger brother and her mom out to dinner, and then they thought there was a screw up. They said, well, Thursday night. I thought it was Friday night and everything else, and I was sitting there because I go for the margaritas. Heck with the food. What a buddy of mine used to sit there and say that puts chunks in your puke. So heck.
Well, he's going for a liquid dinner.
Yeah. I was all counting on it yesterday, and then when she came, she told me, she sat there and says, they screwed up. They think it's Friday, not Thursday night. And I go, well, your friend who owns this place is there Thursday night, not Friday night. She goes, yeah, I know. So we're going tonight.
You were disappointed too. That's what you got out for the Thomasville sausage.
Don't tell me you'll eat a crap sandwich just to get a margarita, because that's just a bit too much for my life.
I'd order a bowl of nachos.
That comes. I wouldn't, not nachos, but chips and dip come with the meal.
Yeah, they'll bring you chips and dip to your table.
And their bean dip is awesome. So I could sit there and make a meal out of chips and dip.
Well, I remember I was a member of a sailing club. I was actually a sailing teacher, and this was 25 years ago. And I remember going to this bar in Norfolk, Virginia. That's where we'd sail in, because they had a marina and everything right outside there. But really, it was just this down to home bar like place. And they had the best nachos in town. I have never been able to recreate that nacho experience. None of the Mexican restaurants around here make nachos.
Hey, Hazy. Yeah, well, in Australia, we used to have what we call pubs, but you guys probably call them bars. But these just
Hazy, if you want to jump in. Sorry,
they used to offer salted peanuts and salted chips as condiments for you when you were drinking. So they'd be always sitting on the bar, and of course everyone goes, "Oh, a peanut," and they'll eat it. Yeah, they'll get thirsty and order another beer, and they go, "Oh, peanut," and then they get thirsty and order another beer.
It was in a shopping complex. This wasn't a pub. This was a restaurant, bar, grill kind of thing. But they had everything in there. You could eat hamburgers and stuff like that. But upstairs on the second floor, they actually had a British pub. And the name of the place was Reggie's British Pub. And you could get the pub experience, the peanuts sitting on the bar and all.
Texas Roadhouse has, you go walking into Texas Roadhouse, and right there the one that I go to in Texas with T-Dub and everything, walk in, right there is this big, huge barrel full of nothing but peanuts. And you got a bucket up there, and so they sit there and you scoop up a bucket of peanuts. As the hostess takes you to the table, you got a bucket of peanuts that you bring with you. And then if you want it filled during your meal, you hand her the bucket and she'll fill it back up and bring it to you.
The other problem I got with themed type pub bars and everything else, it really makes me laugh. They say this is an Australian type restaurant bar, and you go, you come to Australia, they don't look like that. They don't even act like that. Just because you can put kangaroo on the menu doesn't make it Australian.
Yeah, well, this bar, this name of this.
The thing about peanuts on the bar is they might be salted, but there's 7 different tastes of peanuts in there.
Well, this bar, this restaurant, or this grill,
and some of them are hot.
They weren't trying to be anybody.
You should never eat the peanuts on the bar. Just saying.
They were not trying to. They were authentic. They were themselves. They weren't trying to copy anybody. And it was a great place. And of course, it went out of business. I bet you they've even torn the building down by now. Yeah. But it's like they were being themselves. And the name they went by the name Schooners is because when you would order a beer on draft day, they bring you a 32-ounce beer. And they had a Molson Dark on tap from Canada. That's what I always ordered when I went to Schooners was the nacho. Well, sometimes I'd get a burger, but I'd get nachos and a Molson Dark on tap. And they would bring you a 32-ounce glass up to your table.
How much is 32 ounces?
It's about a liter.
A liter.
A liter is just a little bit more than 32 ounces. A liter is like
half a pint.
1.08.
Basically, 32 ounces, half a pint. Wouldn't it be half a pint?
Yeah. No, a half pint.
32 ounces, isn't that?
No, a half a pint.
32 ounces, isn't it?
Well, we drink things by the pint. Unless you're a lady, then
okay,
you'll have half.
Well, Hazy, if it was a 32-ounce beer, it would be 2 pints in a glass. They would be like a double.
It's like a pitcher.
Yeah, it was like half of a pitcher of beer. They brought you this. They called it a schooner because it looked like a little bowl full of beer. It was like a bowl on top of a stem, and it had a ship on the side of it.
Yeah, some places over here do a big pitcher. It's got like 7 pints in.
Well, this place wasn't a chain or anything. They were
U.S. measurement, 32 ounces is 1 quart.
Oh, fuck, that just confuses things a little bit more.
Yeah, hey, got to confuse 4 quarts to a gallon.
Oh, fuck, Let me get a pen and paper.
Yeah, but isn't a pint something like 470 mil or something?
A pint is 500 and...
It's an English pint. In Australia, it's 470 mil.
An imperial
it's 520. I think it's 526.
470 milliliters. Okay, well, so a quart's 940 milliliters then.
Oh, so it's just under 2 pints.
It's just under 2 pints, yeah.
They say
that's a big drink.
An imperial pint is 19.2 ounces.
Yeah, it's 473 milliliters in the US.
It's crazy, isn't it? Why can't we all
473 milliliters.
But a pint here in the US is 16 ounces, or your 470 milliliters.
We'd all be on the same page if it wasn't for America not wanting to go to what do you call it?
Metric.
Well, this is the easiest way to figure out the two systems. The metric system is based on the weight of a kilogram is the weight of a liter of water. So when you're trying to figure out liquid measurements and all that, they go by the weight. So if you know how
kilogram is a liter of water. Is that true?
Yeah, a liter weighs a kilogram.
Only in South Australia.
Do a test it for yourself.
I just looked up what the difference of beer pints are in the world, and it comes up with a 570 ml or 20 ounce glass is referred to a pint everywhere outside of South Australia, in which must be referred to as an imperial pint to differentiate between the 15 ounce glass, which they call a pint, which is 450 mils in South Australia. Seriously, we got to be totally different to the rest of the world.
Totally different down there?
Totally different.
So you're going to show
hold on. If I go to Wales and order a pint, how many ounces of
20
beer
ounces.
am I getting?
You're going to get 20 ounces in Wales.
Yeah, which is an imperial pint in South Australia.
But if you go to Australia, you'll only get 50. You'll get cheated out of 5 ounces. You'll only get 15 ounces.
No, that's only in this state of South Australia. The rest of Australia says we'll do what the English says, but South Australia said, yeah,
Let me tell
when
me
you
tell
go to Australia, keep that in mind that you're getting 5 ounces less than.
Listen, Tom, the difference between having a pint in Wales and having a pint in Australia is the pint in Wales will actually get you drunk. You know,
we can buy Welsh beer here, you know.
No, I just want to know the difference in ounces.
Call it Coopers.
Difference in ounces.
Listen, I haven't drunk alcohol since August.
I know, and you.
I haven't drunk alcohol for 4.5 years.
I haven't drunk alcohol since last Friday night.
I just drinking a beer.
You did better than I did.
What, Tom? You found a way of eating it?
Well, I'm going to go drink my dinner tonight.
I had alcohol Tuesday night on Jimmy C's live show.
I've been off the booze and it's doing me good. I've lost a bit of weight. My stomach's going down. I'm almost got a 6-pack. And yeah, I'm feeling good.
Yeah, I watched your camping tryout video this morning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's it's good. It's good to get back with nature. I used to be outdoors all the time years ago, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the rat race is a little too much. You got to go back to basics, you know.
Yeah, just rain. Go find some place to download everything and just veg.
Yeah. So that's my goal, to start doing some outdoorsy videos.
Recharge your batteries.
Yeah. Because I mean, I know everybody's taking it tough this lockdown malarkey, but certain people take it a little bit tougher, and I think I fall into that category. It's been a little bit tough for me, but
hey,
I'm getting there, really.
Do you have to wear a mask when you ride that bike?
No.
I don't have to wear a mask at all.
Well, here we do. That's one reason I've been getting the exercise.
Didn't you say last time I talked in lockdown?
People have got to wear masks over here, but you can be exempt. There's certain categories of people fall under exemption. And yeah, I do wear it occasionally, but sometimes I just can't. I just can't have something on my face.
Well, I think a mask is a good idea, but have to wear it everywhere. I mean, if you're just walking down the street, I mean, you're not gonna, unless you get right on top of somebody and breathe on them, you know, then
I don't think that's a good idea, to be honest. I just really don't. I don't think that's a good idea.
Well, I wear more out of respect than about keeping anybody safe, because I think they only keep. I think they work, but they only work to a certain degree. And like if you're on the street,
they don't work.
If you're not wearing your mask and you
don't work
and talk.
They don't work. It's a bit of cloth over your face. It's not going to work. It's not stopping anything.
It'll work for about 10 seconds, and then you got to walk away and take it off because you just collected all their shit and stuck it on the front of your face and breathed it in.
Yeah, and then what happens then? You take it off. Whatever's on the front of that, you've got to take the mask off. Now it's on your hand, and then you've got to go to the next door. Then you've got to take your mask out, which is you're touching your hand. So you might put the stuff from the front now on the back, and you put it on your face. It's just more contact with your face.
Yep.
It's retarded. Seriously, it's
well, you know, I'm not posing an argument about masks, but I'm saying when you're in the middle of the street and there's nobody around you, you're still in public. But like if you walk up to somebody and start talking to them, I wear a mask out of respect because I don't want their feelings to get hurt. But if you're not standing there communicating with somebody, I don't see any reason for you to wear a mask.
I'm sorry, but if I worried about everyone's feelings getting hurt, I wouldn't leave the house.
Well,
if you're worried about if somebody's feelings going to get hurt because you're not wearing a mask walking up the street, then perhaps they should stay in their house because they're way too delicate for this world.
The place I wear a mask is when I go into a store. Other than that, walking from the door to the store to my car or the car to the, I'm putting my mask on or taking it off.
I rarely go into stores. I send the wife.
Yeah. When I go into the store, I do occasionally put it on.
Hey, Gaffa, I can't send Nancy to O'Reilly Auto Parts and tell her to get the part for the Camaro because she'd probably blow it.
Yeah, I can send my wife. And when she gets it wrong, I send her back.
When they
Listen, Tom, the dude that sold you those springs for that car, surely it's their mistake and they've got to rectify it.
Yeah, hey, this 12-year-old order, Hazy, and I just found out. Okay, this is the thing you gotta understand, and that's why I explained it that way when I did the video. November 2007 is when I ordered I started actually restoring the car. I ordered the part. Haven't started. I tore the car apart. It was sitting in the garage under a tarp, up on jack stands, and then I started ordering parts. When the parts came in, I want to say December of 2007 is when I really started work on it. You've got a 12-year-old order. The company definitely screwed up. Everything else, the whole 9 yards. So yeah, they did screw up. We agreed they screwed up. Everybody, all parties except Tucker's, because I refused to talk to him, screwed up. And so fine. But I went directly to Heights, and Heights is working with me and giving me a little bit of a discount, not much, on the correct springs for the car. So I'm not upset much. I'm not upset about the springs and everything else as I'm upset with me on not really checking the parts when I got them all in the garage. I should have took the invoice, checked the parts, called Heights saying, this is what I got. Will this work? And I just was so excited. I wanted to start on the car. Let's go. Car's ready. I got it. The frame was underneath the car was all cleaned. It was all painted. It was fresh. It was ready to start putting back together. Let's go. And that's what I wanted to do. And I totally blew that. And it's my fault. It's Tucker's fault for doing the wrong parts and not doing their due justice on finding out if they didn't know about it. But then it's also my fault for not checking Tucker and checking the parts too. So can you
reap anything from them? Can you sell them on or something?
The springs? Yeah, I could still sell them and everything else. There are 4 of the same type spring. I mean, think about it. I mean, you don't have to be a mechanic or anything else to realize that you cannot put the same weight springs on all 4 corners of the car and expect it to handle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's what they did.
They just had a newbie.
I didn't think any American cars handled.
Actually, I said his name. His name's Cody, and he's the owner's son. So I don't think he was a newbie, David.
Yeah, he was a I don't care bee.
No, he was sitting there looking, saying, "How much can I screw this guy?" And that's exactly.
I don't give a chitty.
Yes.
This guy's walking in here with a checkbook. I know he's got money. Let's go.
What they cost you? $1,600? Did you say?
The whole front, the whole suspension kit for the Camaro was $10,000.
Holy shit!
And are they going to fix the error, or have you got to go wear it?
Hold on, Gaffa. The front subframe, upper and lower tubular A-frames, coilover shock springs, disc brakes. Rear end was a 4-link with a Curry rear end with the 3rd member with 370 posi, 31 spline axles, disc brakes back there. That's what I paid $10,000 for.
So how much of that 10 grand went on the Swanee? 1,600 quid, is it?
Pardon?
How much of the £10,000 that you spent is no good?
Oh, the springs are only going to cost me, and I'm getting a discount, $133 for the fronts and $133 for the rear.
What Tom lost was the time he invested.
So basically about $320.
This is not the first mistake they did. If you remember the video, I showed you 4 mistakes that they did for a total of almost 200 plus hours of labor on my part and $1,600 and some change on cash wise. Yeah. I did make some of the money back, not all of it. I sold the rear brakes that they screwed up on ordering. I sold the master cylinder that they screwed up on ordering. But there's some stuff, I mean, the 2 brake line kits that T-Dub and I tore apart, putting brake lines on the car that we eventually got pissed off because of their screw ups, threw away. You got those 2 kits. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that adds into it, and it to me it's I'm not calling Tuckers. I don't want nothing to do with them. I'll put it to you this way: if I still was wearing my badge and doing their fire inspections, I'd be writing the shit out of them right now, the way I feel. Right now, this time, everything else, I go in and do their inspection, I'd be writing the shit out of them.
Yeah, but the problem is you'd be writing the shit out of them because they probably deserve to be written the shit out of them, not because they fucked you around.
Oh no, you can go in and you can look. I mean, you can dig. You can go in and look, or you can go in and dig. And I go in and dig. I'd write them up so bad that they'd sit there and then I come back in 10 days and see if they did it all, and if they didn't, then I'd write them a ticket. Here, go see the judge.
Well,
pay $1,500.
I would have put it this way to you, Tom. After the second fuck up, I would have said to you, and you went back for the third one, I would have went, seriously, Tom? And then when you went back for the fourth one, I said, you're just a glutton for punishment, aren't you? Because I wouldn't have gone back for the third one.
Number and dirt here, so I understand, and I fully agree with you. But yeah.
Or if I go in, I would have walked in and said, I want to see the manager, not his lackey. And if the manager didn't give me the right attitude, I would have walked out and said, right, I'm going somewhere else.
The only thing, you're halfway through a build and you got this one brand of suspension and they're the only dealer. That's where Heights sat there. They told me back when I found out about the master cylinder, they told me back then that I could call them direct and buy parts directly from them. So then when I did the sway bars, I went directly to Heights, everything else. And then when we were going through the receipts, sat there, and the funny thing about it is I got really pissed, and I took all my receipts and I sat down with Heights and George over the phone, and we went through item by item by item by item. And then George sat there and he goes, well, when you buy the front Pro G subframe, the transmission cross member comes free with it. It's part of the kit. And I go, okay, I got a receipt here where they charged me $200 for it. So he says, so you paid, and I'm pulling a number off, I don't know if it's right. You paid $5,000 for their Pro G front subframe kit. It's supposed to come complete, including the transmission cross member. And you're showing me a receipt for $200 because they charge you for the cross member? I go, yep. And he goes, that's wrong. So I just...
Sure, you should be able to get that back at least.
Well,
$200 back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Hazy, it's America, not England.
Hazy, turn around and talk to the wall, and now if it answers you, then good, because that's the
no. In America, do not turn around and talk to the wall, because if you do, it'll probably rip off as well.
Yeah.
I know. Well, my first week there, I'm not saying they ripped me off, but where I was staying in our apartment we were renting, on the corner was a bagel shop, and every morning I'd get up, I'd go in, I'd buy breakfast bagels for me, Kate, and the kids. And I went in for 3 mornings. The price was the same. Went in there the 4th morning. The price went up a little bit. It's the same order. I was like, hang about. It went up like $4 or something.
Damn.
I said, you've overcharged me. And then she went through the numbers and said it was all right. It was either the person the 3 days before was undercharging me, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or they thought, oh, we got a tourist, let's overcharge him. Although the bagels were lovely.
I went to apply for a job at this electronics supply store. It's called Circuit City, and they've long been out of business. They got bought out by somebody. But anyhow, I went through the interview process with Circuit City, and you know what? They were concerned more about me knowing how to make change at the cash register than what electronics did. They were more concerned about me being able to make the correct change.
That's all they cared about.
And whether the area where I was working was clean. They weren't worried about my knowledge of electronics or any of my business customer service experience. They just were worried about money.
If you go into a store now over here, 9 times out of 10, if you ask somebody for some advice in the store, whatever it is, because I bought a bike recently, and so I've gone to some places where it is nice to have advice from people who know what they're talking about, you know.
Mm-hmm.
No one knows nothing. No one knows anything. If you go into a store and ask somebody if they sell something, and that person don't know for sure, he'll just say no. They'll say, "Oh no, we don't sell it." Yeah, I was in Tesco's, which is a grocery store, about 2 weeks ago, and I heard this fella ask somebody that was stocking shelves if they sold a certain chili sauce, and I bought it. I bought this chili sauce in the store 2 days before, and the guy that was stacking the shelves was sticking condiments up like sauces and stuff. That's why he asked him. And he had a quick look on the shelf what he was stacking, and he turned around and said, "No, we don't sell that, mate." And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? I bought it 2 days ago. It's just around the corner on this other shelf." So I went and told the guy myself, and I actually showed him where it was, you know. But the guy that worked in the store said, "No, they don't sell it." Instead of saying, "I'm not sure. I'm not too sure. Maybe you should go and ask somebody else," he just said, "No, we don't sell it."
Well, I don't know how it works in Wales, but in the U.S., if you have trouble in a store, they have customer service, and you go straight to them and ask them whatever questions. If anybody can't help you in the store,
we got customer service.
Yeah, go to the desk.
You'd think the dude that's stocking the shelves with the sauces
would know.
I mean, you should know that.
Well, you know this. The grocery store has everything in their inventory on a computer. They can look in the computer and see whether they have that hot sauce in stock.
Oh, yeah. The problem I got with that is you could ring up the store anytime you wanted to. No matter what store you go, you could ring them up and say, "Look, have you got this in stock?" They'll look on the computer and the computer, "Yeah, we got 2. You go there and they go, "No, it was sold out 2 days ago." And you go, "Then why is your computer say it's got 2? I'm wondering around every store looking for something done."
Their inventory.
What Gaffa is, you sit there and take the due diligence and go online, go to the store and see what they have in stock. And they say they got 2 in stock. And so then you get dressed, you go get the car, you drive over there to sit there and buy and they're gone. They don't have.
Yeah. The shoplifters probably had them. It happened to us in America as well, in Walmart.
That's what throws inventory.
Good thing about it here in Australia is if your store hasn't got it, they can look up on the computer to say which store within your area might have some, and you can still drive over there and they ain't got none.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I remember days when I did the work for a business, and they'd come in and be looking for something. Oh, and they'd say, I would say, "Oh, we're out of stock on that item." And we would do one of 2 things. We were this conscious. We were a good business. We said either we'll have it for you tomorrow or we will tell you where you can find it at another location in town.
Yeah, these days
you want to drive an hour to the next store, they have it in stock. Or if you don't want to drive an hour out of your way, come back tomorrow and we'll have it.
See, in this day and age, it's easy to say, "No, we haven't got it," so you go away and leave them alone.
I wouldn't do that to somebody.
It happened in Walmart when we were in New York. We wanted a paddling pool for Harry because one day it was just too hot to take the kids out. So because we had a bit of a garden in our apartment we were renting, we thought, go to Walmart, get a little cheap paddling pool. Kids can play in a garden. We can have some food and stuff. And the dude said, it was the part where there's all sports stuff. And so I've gone there. There's some dudes stacking the shelves. I've asked him if he got some paddling pools. He just said, "No, we've sold out." I've walked to the next aisle. There's a big stack of them. Like the hard case little paddling pools, the shell ones.
I know what you're talking about. They sell them at the grocery store.
Probably about this deep and
you kidding me?
Yeah.
So I just picked one up. I walked straight back round to him. His name was Jeffrey. I'll never forget. He's a big
How British of you? How British of you?
So I went straight back round. I said, "Jeffrey, you dull motherfucker." If anyone else asks you, there's a big stack of them around there.
They don't care. I mean, I don't mean to be on a platform or have an opinion. People don't give a fuck.
Listen, you're not entitled to an opinion, David Collins. Stop being afraid of having an opinion.
They're either worried about the money in their pocket
No, most people these days aren't worried about the money in their pocket. They're worried about getting off their ass and doing something.
They're lazy in the world. Yeah, they're lazy.
Most people are brain dead. Seriously, brain dead.
I'm with you.
I put it down to entitlement. Everyone thinks they're entitled to not do any work.
Yeah, they feel like they're entitled, but yet they don't want to put any effort out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I blame the Canadians. I really do.
I mean,
I'm with you, Gary.
What difference would it have made to that guy named Jeffrey to walk a mile over and say, well, here they are, here we have paddle pools, it's like,
yeah.
That would have made a whole world.
There's no job. There's no people nowadays, especially people who work in that sort of industry. They're just selling stuff. They're not. They're either stacking the shelves for you to take more stuff, or they're taking your money. There's no there's no job satisfaction. So it must suck the life out of you going into a job every day where you're just either stacking shelves or taking someone's money.
Well, I used to do a whole lot of.
I might be showing my age here, but I used to remember the days where supermarket cashiers used to be called checkout chicks, and they used to actually know the price of the item without having a scanner to skip them over. And they used to have a guy at the end who used to pack your bags, everything diligently, put it in everything. Everyone smiled and everyone was happy. Everyone they said have a good day and was helping you take stuff to the car and shit like that.
But Gaffer, do you know why? Because they were involved in life then. Nowadays, people are just staring at their phones,
but it's
scrolling through shit like zombies.
Yeah, not only that, Hazy, back in the days of checkout chicks that actually cared about, they were actually trained to run a register. They were trained to be a cash register. Now you can take anyone off the street who knows basic maths and can give the correct change. The machine will do all the rest for them. They don't have to do anything.
All they got to do is be able to lift the item and scan it over the laser.
Yeah,
that's all they got to do.
Yeah, and you can see when they get frustrated when the scanner doesn't pick up the item. They sit there 3 or 4. Sorry, is it that hard of a thing to actually sit there and check it and just to make sure? Then apparently the scanner's got to do it. I've got to get it to work on the scanner.
Yeah.
Actually, what I'm going to do is probably something along similar, because these auto parts store to where they got anybody sitting behind the counter, and all they do is type it into the computer, make model car and everything. And what do you want? And they get you your part in the whole 9 yards. Well, make and model don't work on my car. So I'm going to pull my car in. I'm going to give them a GM part number and want the serpentine belt for it. So when the person behind the counter sits there and types in, what type of car is it? 68 Camaro. What does it have in it? 350 Ramjet. Okay. And you want what? I want a serpentine belt. Well, there's no serpentine belt made in that. That's why I gave you the GM part number.
See,
and I'm going to run this gambit with this guy to sit there and see how dumb he wants to be.
Yeah, that's why I go to an auto parts store where guys actually know how to build a car, and when you ask for a part and give them a part number, they get out this big massive catalogue this big, and they open that up and they'll look through that and they go, oh, hold on, yeah, no, that's not one. They get another one this big and they'll stick that on the counter and they'll go through that, and then they'll, yep, that's the one, no worries, it's on that shelf, and then they'll walk right down to the end of the shelf, peel it out, and they'll come out and go, this one's the same but cheaper. Okay.
Blow the dust.
I used to do the exact same thing when I wasn't working, and I didn't want to sit down all day anyway. And when I wasn't packing or shipping the orders that were ordered on, well, there wasn't a computer. They did it over the phone, but the orders that were called in or faxed in, when I wasn't busy, I went back there to those shelves with all those parts on them. And I walked around and I made sure, well, we didn't sell auto parts, but if it was an auto parts store, I would make sure that we had, I would already know in my mind how many serpentine belts for a certain car we had to keep in stock. I needed to make sure there were 3 serpentine belts on that shelf. And if there wasn't, I was going to go to my master purchase order, put down I needed 2 more serpentine belts on the order before I faxed the order out for that day. That's how close.
Yeah, well, the store we go to has got 3 guys who know more about cars than most of the people that walk in there, and you have to stand in line to get service because that many people want to go there and get service because they're that friggin' good.
Yeah. When I want quality auto parts, I got it's Clark County Auto Parts here, and I got, that's exactly what the store is, Gaffa. All it is guys or girls behind the counter, and they don't look at anything in computer. They pull out books. They've all worked on cars, so they know exactly what you're doing, and they'd be able to find it. And if you walked in there and gave them a GM part number, they'd sit there and cross-reference that number and give you what you're looking for. What point I'm trying to make is that anybody in these I want to say, auto parts stores like O'Reilly's or all of them around the States, is all it is. You pick one guy up or you pick a girl up, and I'm not trying to pick on anybody, but they sit there and they have not a clue on what they're doing on auto cars as far as repairing cars, but they sure as hell know how to work a computer. And
what does GM stand for?
General
Motors.
General Motors.
I knew it was going to be simple, a simple thing. I just it was
well, there's the big three: General Motors, Ford,
and
Chrysler.
I think it's Chrysler now. Chrysler, you know, has Dodge, and they had Plymouth underneath their name.
All right, I'm going to call it tonight. I got to get changed.
I thought General Motors was Chev. Anyway,
several margaritas with my name on it.
All right, Tom. Thanks for having me, man.
Hey, thanks, Tom.
All right. So I want to thank everybody for showing up. David Collins, Hazy Days, Gaffa. And we'll pick this up next weekend or next Friday.
Nice to see you guys anyway. So
nice seeing you, Hazy. I like the bike videos.
Oh, there's going to be plenty more, don't worry.
Okay.
I got catch up to do.
All right.
Listen, if you haven't watched my channel for a month, you got way too much to catch up.
I haven't watched anyone's channel for a month. All right. Catch you.
Bye, guys. Bye.